Inside this can is absolute magic. You just got to unlock it. If you want to see it, watch this video. I'm going to turn this canned corn into magic right now. Corn is good on the cob and with a little butter and on a Tuesday night, but I'm going to turn this into the most luxurious sauce that you've ever seen, and it's super cheap. So first step is get the corn in a pan with all of its juice. This stuff is beautiful. It's packed at its peak freshness and it's delicious. So it's really good, really sweet. I'm just gonna add a little bit of butter because corn and butter are really good friends, and a nice touch of salt, and then I'm gonna cook it. I'm gonna let the butter melt and the corn soak up all that beautiful flavor with a kiss of salt, and then I'm gonna blend it into the nicest puree. Because the corn's fairly cheap, I splurged a little bit and got some nice shrimp. And then all this is a spice blend. I've got spices all the time, a tomato, cilantro, and I'm gonna make a little dish of magic. So this is my spice blend. It's kind of modeled after Creole spices with a couple missing ingredients. So a little bit of oregano. I like that grassy, pungent, earthy flavor. It goes really good with the mild shrimp. A little bit of onion powder and garlic powder. And then now I'm gonna get really intense with it. Some Old Bay, you find this with seafood all the time. I find it just delicious. And some cayenne pepper because I want that touch of spice. And this is a very, it's gonna be hot, but that's okay. And then a little kiss of salt in that spice blend. Look at this. Super quick, super fast. This is like a Creole-esque spice blend. It's got everything in there. Oh, so good. It's the smell of butter, salt, and corn that just makes you smile. I think that flavor lives in all of us. So it's time to puree it. What I like to do is remove lots of the corn and then leave some of the juice in there, and you can go right into a blender. You can hand blend this if you want, but if you want it really creamy, use a nice blender. It'll be silky smooth. Check this out. Look at how silky smooth that is. It has the greatest texture and that flavor of eating buttered corn. It's so good. That is restaurant quality. Okay, for the shrimp, to cook them, super simple. A little bit of salt, just get it on top of the shrimp. There's a little bit of salt in that spice mix, super tasty. Oil into a nice hot pan, and then I like to get a little crust on it. So once I flip them, in with a little pat of butter, and then just a sprinkling of that spice mix. You don't want the spice mix to burn at all. You just want it to help flavor that shrimp, and then it mixes in with the butter. Look at that, look at that, look at that. That is so good. You get a nice crust on one side of the shrimp, and then you put the butter in, turn off the heat, add some of the spices, switch it around, done. That's it. That's all it takes to cook the shrimp. You don't want to overcook them. And as soon as the spices hit that warm butter, the smell in here, that and corn, heaven. So just to give it a little freshness, some tomato and coriander. It's fairly cheap. And then this is so rich and spicy. When you get to a cool tomato and a little bit of cilantro, it kind of opens up the whole dish. I love how fast this dish is. It's super delicious and you don't need a lot of money to make things look pretty. All right, I'm gonna go with the corn puree. And then on with the shrimp. What I like to do is get a few on there, put them around, and then there's a little butter in the bottom of this pan that is very, very flavorful. And it's free flavor. Along with shrimp, the open gaps. Oh, so good. And then a few tomatoes. Some cilantro. That looks so good. Look at that, and it's a can of corn. Some tomatoes, some old herbs I had, some dry spices, and a little bit of love. That looks so special. I really like this. I really like it because it's humble ingredients, just cooked with a little bit of attitude and a little passion, and it's so, so good. That corn puree is so creamy. You have to try that. It is so good. You probably have a can of corn right now in a blender. Get on it. It's so good with the spices and the prawns, even if that was a sauce for chicken or salmon or white fish, so good. Brightness of the tomato and those Creole style spices, delicious. You have to try corn puree or the French corn puree, super good.